Well, today you're in for a treat because I'm going to show you one of my favorite card tricks that I get great results from, and I hope you'll like it too. So, this is called Chicago Opener, or some call it Red Hot Mama. I think it goes by both names. So, we'll use red cards. Let me tilt this down so you can see. All right, I'm still getting the hang of this, so bear with me. Basically, you take the deck and you can have the spectator choose a card at random. They really do have a free choice. So let's say you're here in front of me. You have a free choice. Oh, you like that one? Okay, no problem. So you pick the King of Spades, and then I'm going to let you place it back in the deck whenever you like. I'll just start shuffling like this. And when you tell me to stop, we'll place your King of Spades on top there, lost in the deck. It really is somewhere in the middle of the deck. And now you can do this with a table or without a table. But you'll ask the spectator to take a look and see if there are any marked cards or anything unusual on the cards. And you see I'm using a holiday themed color scheme here. But oh, there is one that's unusual. There's a green card, somehow got into my red pile. And let's see, what was your card again? And they'll say their card. And then we'll just flip it over and show them, well, that's unusual. The only green card in my deck was your King of Spades that you chose. That is crazy. So we'll just put your green card down there. And then what I'd like to do is shuffle it up a little bit. And then, as I make a mess here, just keep shuffling it up. And then I'm going to have you choose a card again. And we can do this a couple ways. I can riffle it down, or I can have them cut wherever they like. I prefer to have them cut if there's a table. If there's not a table, then I'll do a riffle, which is a whole different way of doing the trick. But for now, let's just say we have a table, and the spectator can truly cut the cards wherever they want. Their King of Spades is over here. Let's say they cut there. It's very random. We mark their cut. Did you feel anything unusual when you told me to cut there? They usually say no. If they say yes, that's okay. Say, yeah, I felt something unusual too. And then see where they cut and look at what their new card is. And their new card is the Jack of Hearts. What was your card over here? They'll say, well, I had the King of Spades. Hopefully they remember. Well, wouldn't it be crazy if you waved your new card over your old card and they matched? Because they do. Everything's examinable. It does use a completely normal deck. There's no duplicates in here, but obviously there's duplicates there. And we'll get into the explanation next this time. Okay, here's the explanation of a classic card effect. I don't even know who invented it. It's been around so long. If you know, drop me a comment. I'd love to know who invented it. I've seen so many different performances of this, but all you'll need is a regular deck of cards. This is a regular deck. And you will need a duplicate of a card of your choice. I chose the Jack of Hearts from my red deck and just pulled a Jack of Hearts out of my green deck. That's all you need. Your setup is your regular Jack of Hearts goes on the bottom, and the very last bottom card is your off-colored Jack of Hearts. All you do is, I did a false cut in the beginning. If you like the way this looks, let me know. I'll do a separate video on it. But you let the spectators choose any card they want. They really do have a free choice. They just can't go all the way to the bottom because you don't want them to see or take that green card or your other duplicate. Those two must remain at the bottom. That's not too hard to do. You just tell them, hey, quickly, your first intuition is usually your right one. Go ahead and pick a card. I've never had anybody go all the way to the end. So let's say they pick this card here, the Six of Clubs. Doesn't matter, that's perfectly fine. Now, you'll go ahead and start taking cards off the top and tell them to tell you when to stop, and then they'll put their card on the top, and it looks like it's lost in the deck. You just put the rest of the cards on top. Now under here you have your green, that's the green Jack of Hearts. That's what's going to mark their card. You place that on top and it's done. And then you go through, and I like to give a speech about how I'm looking for cheater cards or notice if there's anything marked. In the video I did it on the table. Now I'll do it holding it hands up. Now you'll see you have to be very careful with these particular cards because the borders are different colors. You got to be careful not to flash that green card. With regular bicycles, it doesn't matter because all the borders are white. So this is not the ideal card combination to do this with, but I try to just kind of, they're going to see it anyway. You just don't want them to see it earlier. So we'll get to the green card here and say, oh, that's unusual. There is a marked card. It's marked with a totally different color. And then you'll perform a double lift. If you don't know how to do that, there are a lot of videos out there on it. I can also create one if you're interested. There's many different ways to do this. I buckle the cards back just a little bit so I can get an easy grip on the bottom. Of the two cards, remember you're lifting two as one here. So it looks like you're only lifting the green card, but really I'm also lifting the red card, which is theirs. And say, oh, of all the cards that green card could have been, it was the one you chose earlier. And I place it back on top carefully and slide it, the green card, to the table. Now this is the Jack of Hearts, because remember we had them positioned together on the deck. So underneath is the other Jack of Hearts. I just need to do one more move to bring it to the top. And the move I do is I just start shuffling cards, one after the other, until I get to the last one and I can feel it's the last one. If you're worried about missing it, just angle the cards to you and you can see that you're getting the Jack of Hearts on top. So I make sure that's on top. It is. And the work is done. Now they can cut. They can cut anywhere they like. Ask them, I'd like to mimic how I want them to cut it so there's no misunderstanding, but I'll do something like that and say, go ahead and cut the deck in half anywhere you feel the need. And when they're done, you can complete the cut for them at an angle because you're marking that's the card you want them to choose, right? That's their Jack of Hearts. You want to mark it at an angle. What you don't want them to do is that because they'll lose it. So I'll usually take it for them and finish the cut. Nobody ever realizes that that is still the same card on top that you started with at the beginning before you ask them to cut. It's here, and all you're doing is leaving it there. It's still on top, but it looks like it's in the middle of the deck. Our brains aren't trained to notice what just happened. I think this is the most unbeatable card force out there. After you distract them for a few minutes, just say, well, let's see what card you cut to. Jack of Hearts. Wave it over what was your other card. And voila, there you go. Two Jacks of Hearts. I love this effect. Red Hot Mama, Chicago opener. Give it a try. Let me know what you think of it. And maybe I can do a performance video soon. One of my favorite effects. Enjoy. Look forward to more card effects coming your way soon.